Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So Judge Benitez, also known as Saint Benitez to those in California because of his pro-Second Amendment stance and his work on Freedom Week, plays a pivotal role in the future of the Second Amendment in that state. He has several huge 2A cases that are currently sitting in front of him right now that would change the 2A landscape in that state forever. So what do you do if you're the state and you don't want to see these laws overturned? You don't have a legal argument against them because they're clearly unconstitutional. Or maybe you're the people who don't want to see these laws overturned. You have nothing to do with the California government, but you just want to see these laws stand. And again, you have no legal argument against them. So you can see that the future is coming. You see that things are going to be changing and you don't like it. Well, instead of going after the law, you go after the man. And that's what's happening here. So Judge Benitez is under investigation by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. If you want to know for what and what impact this could have on those upcoming cases, stay tuned. Now, before we get started, I just want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Arms List. I absolutely love Arms List. If you're somebody who's heard of Arms List before, but you've never actually been there, I suggest you go over there, you create an account, and you check it out because it's absolutely one of the coolest websites that you'll ever see. It's a great place. They have a 2A defense legal fund going on as well, so you can go over there and you can donate to that and kind of help protect things on the internet. And they're just a great resource for not only the stuff you want, but for information as well. So check out Arms List. Okay, so let's go and talk about what happened and what they're going after. There's a pretty good chance that you guys are going to find this as ridiculous as I do. I think that he's 100% in the right here, but you guys are going to have to be the judge for yourself on this one. So this all stems from a February 13th hearing where he was seeing a person who had been on parole. He was in prison for 5 years with, drug offenses and stuff like that, right? So he had some issues that he was dealing with, and he was in Judge Benitez's court. There was also his 13-year-old daughter that was there as well. Not the judge's daughter, but the defendant's daughter was there as well, and she was 13 years old. Through this process, as things were going on and things were being said, and I'll read you guys directly from the transcript so you have exactly a perfect idea of what happened. The 13-year-old was handcuffed by the marshal and brought forward by the judge. Remember, she's not the defendant. She was just there, just kind of watching what was happening. But the judge, Judge Benitez, had her handcuffed and brought forward. That is what is at question here. So there was a complaint that was filed, a judicial complaint that was filed against him, and that filing ended up making its way to the Ninth Circuit, who basically oversees him. It was sent there by Judge Sabra, and the Ninth Circuit is now launching an investigation into whether or not what Judge Benitez did is appropriate. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would he have a 13-year-old girl who was not even, part of the proceeding handcuffed? That sounds kind of strange, right? It sounds like it's a very bad character choice on his part. What could the reason possibly be? Well, let me read you the transcript and explain it a little bit because, in my opinion, it was completely appropriate for what was going on. So try and remember that character attacks like this are exactly what the people who don't want to see these laws overturned are looking for. Because if you can attack somebody's character, then you can attack their judgment. And character and judgment are two extremely important things when you are a judge and you have such a responsibility. So again, I'm going to put up on the screen the transcript here so you guys can go ahead and read along with me, but I'm also going to just give you a brief synopsis. So basically what happened is while they were in court and the judge was talking to the defendant said that he's having a hard time. He keeps, having the same issues that he had that got him in trouble or got him in trouble the first time, right? He lives in San Diego and he sees the same people that he used to hang out with, and he kind of falls back on his old ways because he sees these people and he has the same interactions that he did before. And the defendant also said that he's worried because his daughter is kind of following the same path as him, that his daughter is also having a lot of the same problems. So the judge basically, through like a quick lesson, right, decided to show her what it was like to be a defendant. So according to the transcripts, the defendant, who is again talking about his daughter, says, quote, "She's basically growing up here where I grew up, so she's encountering the same people that I grew up with that's going to lead her into the same path that I went down," end quote. And then after some additional arguments, Benitez addressed the marshal that was in the room and asked him, "You got cuffs?" Well, a little bit more happened there, and Judge Benitez said, "Do me a favor, put cuffs on her." Now, at this point, she started to cry, right? She was upset because she was having cuffs put on her, right? So then Benitez asked the marshal to escort her to the jury box. And then there was a bit of a pause, right? Now, eventually, obviously, in a short manner of time, Benitez removes the cuffs, but he tells the girl, "Now, don't go away." Benitez told the girl twice, look at me for just a second. You see where your dad is?" "Yes," the girl replied. "How did you like the way those cuffs felt on you?" That's what Benitez asked, right? "I didn't like it," she responded. "How did you like sitting up there?" the judge asked. "And I didn't like it," the girl answered. So that's when Benitez says, "Good. That was the message I was hoping to get to you. So your dad's made some serious mistakes in his life, and look where it's landed him. As a result of that, he has to spend time away from you, and if you're not careful, young lady, you'll wind up in cuffs, and you'll find yourself right there where I put you a minute ago." And that's, what basically what happened. So that was the end quote from the judge right there. But basically just showing her, look, if you stay on this path, you're going to end up just like your dad. She was only handcuffed for a short time, but again, it was just to prove a point that this is what happens when you're on the other side of the law. This is what happens if you continue doing what you're doing. And he taught her a lesson in life, a lesson of right and wrong, and gave her a glimpse into a future that she could have if she continued on that path. For that, they are attacking his character. For that, Judge Benitez is under investigation. If you think that this is totally ridiculous, 100% overblown, and clearly they're just going after him because he has some pretty big stuff sitting in front of him right now, then hit that thumbs up button, because you and I the same. So in my own personal opinion, there's several things going on here. One, again, they're going after his character and his judgment. Two, it's a big distraction. He has several major 2A cases that are currently sitting in front of him right now. I'm sure that's extremely stressful. Again, it could change the landscape in California forever. And just having a distraction like an investigation into you by your peers, by your colleagues, can distract him from that and cause these to maybe run out for a little bit longer. And three, they're sending him a message to let him know that, hey, any little thing can cause an investigation. Any little thing, we can still reach out and touch you, and we wanted to make you aware of that. That's where I think this is coming from. So I think that they're going after multiple things here and trying to affect him in multiple ways. Obviously, I don't think he's going to get disbarred or anything like that. He's not going to lose his judgeship over this. But if they decide to look further into it and make something out of nothing, then, it could cause time delays and definitely cause some problems. Now, I also think that this is just, again, a wussification of parents and children in this country, and half the reason why we have the problem that we do. In my generation growing up, we had, I don't know if you guys remember that show Scared Straight, where they would take these younger people into prisons to see what life was like behind bars, so they could look and see for themselves where the path that they're on is going to eventually lead them. And so it would scare them into living a better life. Well, now apparently if you just, have a quick thing to show them, hey, this is where you're headed, apparently that's just too much. It's too much for the parents, it's too much for the kids, they just can't handle it anymore, and everybody goes into this big wild uproar over it. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's for reasons like that we have so many of the problems that we do now. Again, that's my opinion on the matter, but I wanted to make you guys aware of it, because you don't usually see Benitez in the news unless it's, people on the left that are absolutely freaking out because he overturned something that they like being upheld. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You guys have a great day.